Hello and welcome. You're watching In Focus and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. NAC Breda, a Dutch soccer club, paid tribute to the 1st Polish Armored Division commanded by General Stanisław Maciek on the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Breda by its forces. The city and its residents have a deep connection to Poland, rooted in the sacrifices made during the war.
Breda, a Dutch city with profound respect for Poland.
This anniversary is an opportunity not just to honor the Poles who fell fighting to liberate this beautiful town, but also to thank the Dutch authorities as well as NGOs for upholding the memory of these fallen Poles, of the brave soldiers who brought freedom.
At the event celebrating the liberation of the city, Polish soldiers fired their rifles into the air, paying tribute to their predecessors. In 1944, the city was under German occupation when the 1st Polish Armored Division, commanded by General Stanisław Maciek, advanced toward it. On October 29th, Polish troops launched a decisive assault, successfully liberating the city from Nazi control, all while avoiding artillery fire to prevent the destruction of the city.
In Breda, we owe our freedom to General Maciek and his troops, but not just our freedom. Also our historic city, which thanks to his strategy was not destroyed, but liberated door to door.
101-year-old Captain Eugeniusz Niedzielski is believed to be the only member of the brigade still alive.
I barely remember anything of what we did, because my orders were to drive my tank. The lieutenant sat at top, and he would tell me where to go through the intercom, left, right, ahead or back. I was basically blind. I could not see where I was going. They were guiding me. It's difficult to explain to people what I remember from the war. I only remember driving my tank.
Every year, the city's football club, NAC Breda, celebrates this anniversary. Captain Niedzielski kicked off their match on Saturday. In the stands, the team's supporters held a huge tifo with the words "We Remember" in Polish, created from scenes of the city's liberation. The presence of the Polish foreign minister today only adds to the tribute. He is believed to be one of his party's top choices to become a presidential candidate for the 2025 elections. However, the Civic Coalition, the biggest party in the ruling bloc, still hasn't officially named its candidate.
The universal child benefit in Poland was initially intended to boost birth rates across the country, and early data seemed promising. But reports by the new government suggest that despite the massive investment the program requires, its long-term impact has been disappointing.
The latest government report on the benefit, called 800+, shows an early uptick in birth rates soon after the program's introduction in 2016. In 2017, births exceeded 400,000, a milestone reached only a few times since 1998. However, this initial momentum didn't last. By 2023, the number of births had fallen to just around 270,000. 800+, originally launched in 2016 as 500+ to provide financial support to families with children, was expanded in 2024 in an attempt to boost its impact. Despite the efforts, the fertility rate dropped to 1.17 in 2023, level unseen in Poland's history.
From 2016 to 2026, over 400,000 additional children were expected to be born, an increase of around 30 to 40,000 per year. This growth, however, did not occur.
Despite the mixed outcomes of the 800+ program, it has made an impact in reducing child poverty. The extreme poverty rate for children aged 0 to 17 was at 7.6% in 2023, still lower than the pre-program rate of 9% in 2015. The most significant drop in extreme poverty occurred right after the program's introduction in 2016, and the rate stabilized between 4.5% and 6% from 2017 to 2022. However, 2023 saw an increase of 1.9 percentage points, highlighting the need for sustained interventions to keep poverty rates low. Experts are increasingly pointing to systemic barriers rather than financial incentives as the real issue. While the program has led to a rise in third and fourth births in families, broader demographic challenges persist.
The Warsaw Uprising Mound Park has been named Europe's best public space. Once a pile of rubble, the area has since gained a new life, and international recognition quickly followed.
The Warsaw Uprising Mound has been awarded the European Prize for Public Space at a ceremony in Barcelona. Through the joint vision of architects and landscape architects from Archigrest and Toposcape, the space previously associated with the remains of Warsaw's wartime destruction was reimagined as both a memorial and natural recreational area.
This prize showed that we were right, that we can do something that is fresh, just because we used all that already was there. We accepted the all planting that were already there. We didn't cut down the invasive plants. We worked with them. We worked with the rubble. During the design process, we are really, really afraid how the people of Warsaw would see what we've done, because we tried to change as little as possible and at the same time show what this place is, what it was, what it is, and what it can be.
Despite the caution exhibited by the architects, it is apparent that visitors welcomed the reimagined park with open arms.
A park like this was much needed here because the nearest park is the Royal Baths. But I have a comparison with last year when this park opened and the vegetation is really spreading out in a natural way. It blends into the structure of the park. I love this park. I am really grateful that this place was rejuvenated. I live on the other side of the street. From the moment the park reopened, I've been here virtually every day. It is absolutely special because it is a combination of history with nature.
Considering the public's reactions, it is of little surprise that this project, skillfully combining memory, recreation, and environmental responsibility, all while reflecting Warsaw's post-war reconstruction, has received international recognition.
Roughly 200 years after its creation, a piece of music believed to have been written by Fryderyk Chopin has been discovered in New York City. While some are confident that the style of music is authentic to Chopin, others have doubts regarding its authenticity. Sonia Agata-Biszczan reports.
Discovering original manuscripts by the Polish composer Fryderyk Chopin is exceptionally rare, but Robinson McClellan, curator at the New York Morgan Library and Museum, believes he has done just that. As reported by the New York Times, the A minor waltz, consisting of 48 measures and lasting roughly 80 seconds, is believed to have been composed between 1830 and 1835, when Chopin was in his early 20s. Both the manuscript and the composition exhibit a number of features characteristic of Chopin's work.
Well, the kind of writing gesture in the notes seems quite correct. The kind of paper used, also the color of the ink, brownish, which he used very often. The music is Chopinesque, I would say. It sounds very much like Chopin, but not Chopin enough. I don't know how to put it. His music was always so very refined, so complicated in a good way.
Following a thorough examination of the manuscript, the Morgan Library determined the waltz to be an authentic piece by the legendary composer. The piece has also been recorded by the renowned pianist Lang, who referred to it as one of the most authentic Chopin styles that you can imagine. But the Fryderyk Chopin Institute demonstrated restraint in confirming its authenticity.
Well, we have to be extra careful because a new manuscript and a new piece by Fryderyk Chopin would make us absolutely happy, elated, in fact. But well, we need research, and it doesn't look like a complete piece, more like a musical gesture. Something, if he did it, he just sketched it, but it's not a complete musical thought the way we know Chopin would write it.
Regardless of the originality of this very waltz, it is sure to have revived enthusiasm among aficionados of Chopin's music.
Poland's National Opera has hosted the first ballet premiere of the season, showcasing Gint, a captivating production based on the play by Henrik Ibsen. This unique rendition combines fairy tale elements with modern artistry.
The dramatic poem Peer Gint has been brought to life in an exciting ballet performance at the Grand Theatre National Opera in Warsaw. The choreography for this piece, based on the original music by Edvard Grieg, was composed in 2015 by the talented Slovenian dancer and choreographer Edvard Gluk. His vision incorporates contemporary dance and electronic music, giving the piece a fresh and surprising dimension.
It's very theatrical ballet. So there are elements of the theater. It's the choreographer, it's Edward Klug, and he's well known of his, I think, love to the drama theater. We have many dancing scenes, but that's also very, very theatrical. And I think for every person, it will be very emotional piece. It's very poetic and very moving. You know, for me, I must say that I really, each time when I watch the rehearsal, I'm moved. And it talks about somebody who can represent everyone. It's a little bit like somebody told me, like the adult story of Pinocchio. There's somebody who is lying, but it is also he understands in the end. He travels the world. He leaves the small village, small, not very wealthy village, and he comes back there, different man in the end of his life, understanding a little bit more about life. So it is very, very, very poetic, very moving. The music is by Edward Grieg, extremely nice to listen to, and it's based on the Henrik Ibsen novel Peer Gynt.
Klug's interpretation adds depth to original material, expanding our understanding of the symbolic text of this fairy tale. The dark, dreamlike worlds traversed by the main character, travels become richer, more tangible and intense on stage, thanks to innovative choreography and bold artistic choices.
I'm actually a troll. I'm a troll princess. She has a lot of hair, and underneath she has a second face, which is this. And yeah, now I'm trying to organize my hair many times on stage. I think the whole thing is that we are in a magic world of trolls, and I am tempting Peer Gynt. At some moment I suddenly appear on stage and he's amazed. He's like, whoa, hey, her hair, like her beauty. He cannot resist. And so after the act of love, I become pregnant and I invite him to a world of trolls. And so then my father comes and he asks who is the man. And so I pointed at Peer Gynt, and the wedding is about to happen, and then I give birth with a lot of sound, and then he cannot take the baby, he is running out. So that's the scene. This ballet is beautiful and has a lot of meanings and many different moods. And sometimes you laugh, sometimes you are very, very down or sad, or I cry. It's so beautiful, and I think everybody can relate to the stories from their lives.
Klug plays with conventions, mixing folk elements with modern dance, captivating the audience and giving the performance a dynamic, fresh feel.
Choreographer Edward Klug completed absolutely another order of pieces, and he includes some pieces from not from Peer Gynt, but quite well-known pieces. Some not so well-known, but a lot of quite famous pieces. And we built, how to say, absolutely new construction. The same story by Ibsen, but not the same music by Grieg, which he created for this story. And it's quite fresh, because it's work in ballet story. This, I think, the character, the spirit of these numbers really work on what you can see on the stage, you can listen to the same. Both of them work in your heart and work in your mind and your dramatic and romantic feelings of the audience. So it's very, very interesting connection. We create kind of Norwegian music, which is quite interesting. It's quite fresh, interesting perfumes, what Grieg dreams, what in this story, how he feels these events, how he feels this atmosphere of this world around the Peer Gynt. It's also very interesting, and what we try to do in Orchestra Pit with such amazing orchestra, with whom I'm so happy to work with this absolutely amazing orchestra, and we try to create something interesting, special, full of dramatic, full of explosion, full of romantic pieces and fragments in this story. I hope that people enjoy this production, and I want just to invite everybody to this interesting premiere and to these performances. We will try to do our best, really, because our respect to this music and love to this music it's not big, it's huge. So with great responsibility, with great passion, we try to create this Greek score by Gint.
The show has garnered critical acclaim following performances at prestigious venues across Europe, including Zurich, Vienna, and Leipzig, where it impressed audiences with its innovative approach to the classical material. Now, on the heels of its international success, this remarkable interpretation of Peer Gint has arrived in Warsaw to touch hearts of Polish ballet lovers.
The Paris School of Artists brought together and made a famous group of struggling immigrants from Eastern Europe. Their works are displayed in a unique gallery just outside of Warsaw, where an exhibition featuring the works of Kraków-born Mojżesz Kiesling is gathering crowds.
The leafy spartone of Constantin has a little bit of Paris in its centre. It's just south of Warsaw, and it is the home of the Villa Fleur Museum. Now, what we have on show here is a group of artists called the Montparnasse School, and now many of them are gracing the walls of artists like Madonna. But few realise that the painters have Polish roots, and that's become the fascination of the founder. And I'm here with the owner of the museum, art collector Marek Refler. Marek, tell me, the whole idea of this museum, how did it come to you?
You see, I'm a collector of occult over 30 years. And during my journey also in all museums in Europe, in the world, I find a museum in Geneva, Petit Palais, founded by very great collector Oscar Guess. And he bought a beautiful villa in Centrum on Geneva and organized beautiful museum. It was already many years before mine, and I was looking how he organized this museum. So then, if my collection became so big that I can't put all the painting on my walls at my house, I was starting thinking to do something like this. And then I bought the first house 2007, in completely destroyed, very old, from 1906. I rebuilt it and put the paintings there and start some kind of the house for paintings, where the paintings and masters of occultopy can be alive again.
And tell me about the Montparnasse School, and particularly the Polish associated artists.
You see, this École de Paris starts beginning last century, mainly after the First War, when many immigrants from all over the world, but also the huge diaspora from Central Europe were moving to Paris for a job. Paris was the best-selling place, the art to the Americans, and all over there was a centrum of art and all other culture for whole world. So all of them, they go like to the very special place and start painting there. And then it's called École de Paris because all these artists which arrived, they were following the famous master of Impressionists like Cézanne, like Renoir.
And who were the famous artists from Poland who were part of that school?
The famous artists from Polish origin is Tamara Lempicka, there is Mojżesz Kiesling, Henry Haydn, Ludwik Marcusis, Szymon Monzain, Eugeniusz Zak. In my collection is over 100 of Polish-born artists, which you can see here. the Montparnasse there were several cafes which are existing today. One of them you see the La Rotonde, where you see the sitting all group or Polish painters spending time in a cafe. You can see the very famous like Eugeniusz Zack and his wife. You see the Haydn, Henry Haydn, the next the very famous Cubist painter who together with Juan Gris and Picasso involved new style as a Cubist style. You can see also Leopold Zborowski, the poet from Krakow, who was a marchand of Modigliani, also marchand of Hisling, of Sutin. So he changed his profession from poetry to be marchand in Paris. Very famous Polish painters, women painters. Most known is Tamara Łępicka, another one is Mela Mutter and Alicja Halicka. So the women take also the open art. The emancipation started after war when the men were fighting, so the women need to take the men's work.
Who would you say was the star of the Montparnasse movement?
The Tamara Łępicka is today really star celebrities in art for all over the world, especially because of the prices which the best works are selling over $20 million. So it makes pushing her really on top of the art market. When she arrived in Paris after escaping from St. Petersburg when the revolution starts, he was directly in high society of Russian immigrants in France. So she was selling her painting for the richest people at that time, and he was very, very successful, kind of the celebrities. On the other side, she was bisexual, so he was really leading his life herself, changing the men, and men always were in the shadow of her, great artist. Kisling is a Polish Jew from Krakow. He's starting his career as a painter in art school in Krakow, domestic, and with his famous professor, Józef Pankiewicz, who was organizing summer camps for students in France. Pankiewicz was an enormous fan of that period, of this artist that time. And he bring Kisling with his friends to France. Kisling very fast became very famous in France. His career was really growing enormous fast. His best friends were Picasso, Modigliani, Sutin, all the great artists of that time. He was very, very successful. It's why they call him Prince of Montparnasse. This is a painting of Marcalian Woman. It was done in 1950. It's just around 3 years before he died. So it shows how his technique and possibility till end of his life, he was really 100% the best painter. This Marcalian Woman is one of my favorite painting from my collection, and you see also these eyes on this painting, which is always similar on all paintings. Why I'm collecting Kisling? No, because I like very much what he do. I like these paintings, and he was really one of the most famous Polish artists in École de Paris.
We think of them as Polish artists. How does the whole world see these artists? Are they Polish?
Now most of the world, they think, they looks, they are French artists. I mean that because everything what they done is corresponding with art in France, but also because they are born Polish and speaking Polish to the last days, and be proud to be Polish. Then on the other side, many of them were Jews, so they are also Jews, so also the collectors, Jewish diaspora all over were looking for them.
All of these people are right?
Yes, all of those people are right.
And so this would be all for now here on In Focus, but please stay tuned here on TVP World for more news and features.